Hello everybody and welcome to Whiz, your family-friendly podcast where we discuss D&D Onslaught, Dice Masters, Heroclix, and the other entertaining games made by Wizkids. I'm WizDad, that figure you always wanted to play, but unfortunately I just rotated. Maybe we could play later in Silver? Nah, probably not. You'll still forget it. Anyway, I will be your guide for navigating the competitive and casual scenes of the Wizkids Triforce of gaming. It is Heroclix Friday, and we will wrap up our discussion of Worlds and start looking at the future of Heroclix. Speaking of the future, let's talk about the Wizkids Progress Report.
Kowalski, progress report.
Now, before we get all excited about the future of Heroclix, I feel like we need to do our due diligence and at least acknowledge and congratulate the winners from Worlds. I haven't done that on the podcast yet. We ultimately had 6 World Championships happen over the weekend. We had the Pulp World Champ, which is Lucas Tom Van Hollen. We had the Theme World Champ, which is Michael Kornichuk. Then we had the Team Sealed Championship, which Antonio Clark, McConnell Lamar, and Garrett Schnathorst? Schnathorst? Sorry, Garrett. Was the winner of that. And then finally, culminating it all, the National Singles World Champion, not National, World's Champion for Modern was Patrick Frazier. Congratulations to Pat. I told him before World started, I ran into him, said hi, and I said, man, you got to go win it. I believe you could do it. And lo and behold, he did. So we won't do too much of a deep dive on what the teams were. I know he was playing like a MOE, Carnage Silver Surfer type team. The Theme World Champ, Michael Kornichuk, played the Ultra Chase Thanos with all the gems, and then Lucas Tom Van Hollen, he played Blue Marvel, Mr. Sinister, Red Widow, Doctor Strange, The Watcher, Teen Lantern, Star-Lord, and Moira McTaggart, so kind of like a mixture of the Blue Marvel teams, Red Widow, and then the Sinister Moira McTaggart. We're going to talk a little bit more Pulp and the future of Modern in our Fishing with WizDad segment. But I wanted to at least acknowledge the winners. Congratulations to all of them. Obviously, Patrick Frazier is the champ, the main winner. But now that we have a Pulp format and a theme format, they are still world champs. Same with like the Team Worlds, right? Like I consider anyone who wins any of those, you're still a world champ. Even if it was in Pulp, even if it was theme. There are a lot of players in both. Pulp World Championship have 58 players in it, so you can't just say, oh, well, it's Pulp. No, like, that was a very, very good format. Pulp is heading in a very exciting direction now that we've lost Sinister and a few things. Same with Worlds, like Modern. That's going in a very, very interesting direction. Once again, congrats to Patrick Frazier. But it is definitely, it's going to be the Worlds of Scott Porter's going forward. But to clarify what Patrick Frazier played, he played Prime Spider-Man, Carnage Silver Surfer, Kid Thanos, Sarkhan Iron Man, Mephisto, and then Green Lantern, the Legacy KC one. So kind of your, I won't say standard, right? But it's kind of your typical Prime Spidey, Silver Surfer, MOE, Saki, like, and a lot of that is not going away in Modern. Hey, how about that? So we'll talk about that more in Fishing with WizDad. But first, I did want to take some time to talk about the what we learned at the Fan Appreciation for Wizkids. So if you've listened to my other episodes, which you absolutely should be doing, I've mentioned I mentioned on my Facebook my dissatisfaction with the Fan Appreciation event this year. I felt like it was more Heroclix related Fan Appreciation, and even in that respect, it felt a little lacking compared to previous years. It felt like they showed a lot at Gen Con, which was great. We've seen a lot at Alliance Open House, but we even didn't see some stuff at Alliance Open House, which blew my mind a bit. For example, at Alliance Open House, which, once again, if you don't know, Alliance Open House is where stores can send a representative. It's kind of like a thing for Alliance, who's the distributor, to show upcoming product from Wizkids and other companies to get stores to buy the solicits. And so it's like a big event where they could go and they get different, they get some swag, but they also see like a cool slideshow. And all that information in Alliance Open House is typically not shared with us, the consumer. It is thought that the store will share that. I don't know if a lot of people understand that nowadays the store just doesn't share that info all the time anymore. There's been a pretty decent disconnect, and it's really up to the consumer to go to the store to ask for things. But fortunately for us, there are certain people like J Major who go to those events and take pictures and post them on Facebook for us. The benefit for that is we get privy to some information that we probably should already know, but for whatever reason we don't, because we aren't told. And one of those is that in the Alliance Open House screenshots, we learned that one of the iconics that is coming is Beetlejuice. Yes, Beetlejuice. And that's because, once again, we're getting all these cool iconics. King Kong, Sherlock Holmes. And you have to keep in mind, if you follow the rabbit trail and follow it with Scooby-Doo and whatnot, all this stuff is owned by Warner Brothers, who owns DC Comics. And if you look into it, Beetlejuice is also owned by Warner Brothers. So that's kind of why we're able to WizKids is able to tap into that a little bit for iconics, which allows it to do some very unique things, right? Where they don't necessarily have to get a license to do like a crazy Beetlejuice set, which would probably be cool. They can just say, hey, we're doing this one-off iconics. And it's just kind of like it's a Heroclix, you could still play it, but it's showing like a very unique scene or something like that. So I like the potential of that going forward, because that lends to maybe some other properties, other IPs that maybe Warner Brother owns that could just be a one-off. That way they're not worried about, let's not have another Ninja Turtle scenario where they just overproduce Ninja Turtles and then everyone's burnt out on it. By the way, I would love for Ninja Turtles to come back. Just have a one-off set. Or shoot, give me Iconics Ninja Turtles. Give us the standing on the rooftop, all of them wearing the red bandana, like edition 1 of Ninja Turtles. I used to own that. I still think I do, though it is in such terrible condition, because as a kid I loved those comics, even though they are, or graphic novels, even though they are not meant for children whatsoever. But yeah, give me, I never thought about that. Give me Iconics Ninja Turtles. Yes. There's so much they could do with that. Anyway, I digress. The fan appreciation that we saw did not contain anything about Beetlejuice. I thought that was weird. Thought they should have. But let's talk about what they did talk about. So looking ahead, they talked about what happened since last time. Looking ahead, they get the Notorious pre-release. They're experimenting with the glow effects and flocking, which you can see that in the Wheels of Vengeance figures. They look great, by the way. They look really, really great. I don't know about the glow effects. Okay, that's neat, but I don't know how many times I'm going to be looking at my Heroclix in the dark. Now, that might lead to some cool shenanigans. I don't know if anyone here remembers this. They might still do it, but like a Astro Bowl or like a Cosmic Bowling. That's what it is. And it's like Friday nights at 11. They turn out the lights or dim the lights, turn on some black lights, and you play bowling in the dark, but the bowling ball and the pins glow. So maybe it's something like a Cosmic Heroclix where you play with these figures in the dark. I don't know. They also mentioned introducing new product formats, more retailer support, game development, innovation without complexity creep, more casual organized play, and more competitive organized play. So very, very vague. Not a lot of info, but exciting nonetheless. They talk about store championships and a Heroclix anniversary. So they are making an annual commitment to celebrating the Heroclix anniversary, and they're going to have annual store championships. And basically, there's a special this year. It's a special champion Deadpool prize figure, and there's going to be more information coming about store championships and Heroclix anniversary events. So that's neat. It's a way to inspire more play at stores. I know me locally, we play at our stores every so often, not nearly as much as we used to, and I'm hoping to kind of get back into the swing of, hey, let's play more regularly And so yeah, if this is a way to kind of garner more support, maybe more constructive play. I know for us locally, where I'm from, we really only play sealed because that's when we meet up, is for like a pre-release or a release. So I'm hoping this would be a cool way to get more people in the store. They talked about the upcoming iconic releases. I've talked about that before. I've made a YouTube short about it. Basically, we're getting a new iconics every month. I think that's going to be their plan going forward. It makes sense. It's a moneymaker. Every single month you get a new iconics. Cool concept. I love it. Key thing is availability. Listen, guys, it's already been shown with Batman Nightfall and other things. If you do not pre-order these, you are potentially missing out. They did show us some dials from the upcoming set. So we know about Death of Superman, which I believe is the next one up. Beautiful looking artwork. There's 8 pieces in this iconic set, which is pretty nutty. They showed us the Doomsday versus Superman. From a playing standpoint, from competitive, it's kind of meh for both. But man, do the cards look great. Like it is a really cool looking setup. After that is Hall of Armor. I will say, if you have not pre-ordered Hall of Armor, it's kind of expensive. It's like 70 something bucks. Those cards do have meta potential. They did show one of the Iron Man, like the original one he made in a cave. Basically, Iron Man is coming with shifting focus. Shifting focus mechanic is coming back and is coming with Iron Man, a Hall of Armor. So, I'll read the new. I don't know if this is new from how it was before. Free, if Iron Man began your turn on the map, replace him with another character with this trait on the same click number. If you did, after resolutions, you may generate a character with this trait from your sideline on click 11, adjacent to the replacement character. This game, the generated character cannot use this trait and isn't scored when KO'd. So it's kind of neat. You basically switch suits and you leave the other suit behind, and it's a one-click dial on number 11. You get some of the capabilities that it could do, and it's not scored. And this one's 80 points. It does some okay things. Giant, Blades Claw's Fangs, Giant Reach Forward when he uses Blades Claw's Fangs. If the target has, I can't see the symbol for that. I don't know what the symbol is. Increase the result by 1. Perplex. When Iron Man uses it, the target character with armor or robot, after resolutions, heal that character 1 click if it is friendly, or deal that character 1 penetrating damage if it is opposing. So that's pretty big. But the key thing is it's an 8-click dial for 80 points. That's the sweet spot. 10 points per click is great. And the fact that you can shifting focus, and we know that there's a bunch of other ones. So I am definitely, actually, I haven't done that yet. I need to make sure I pre-order this one because they are going incredibly fast on the Wizkids site. So do not just think, oh, I'll get it. It's no big deal. No. Pre-order these. Absolutely. After we actually just last week, or this past week, did see, well, actually, I'm jumping ahead. They did show the sculpt of King Kong. Looks great. It's a King Kong. It's got some, like, fuzziness to it, so I wonder if they've put, like, a fuzzy, like, velvet type thing on him. He looks like a fuzzy monkey, but he looks cool. He looks like he's punching something, and a lot of people are insinuating that we are getting like a Giganta or something that might go with it, because all they showed is the one figure. Up next, they showed Sherlock Holmes, which comes in these like little book things, and the card is written like a old-fashioned Sherlock Holmes, which is really, really neat. As far as the mechanics, or as far as the character goes, as far as the dials themselves, I'd have to do another look at them. They showed the Sherlock Holmes, which he has the capability, he has a trait. When Sherlock Holmes clears action tokens, you may replace him with 002 Sherlock Holmes on the same click number. So there's kind of like a pseudo shifting focus, but very, very limited. So that might be interesting. They also showed an Irene Adler, who was also kind of neat, who has like this capability of making disguise bystanders and you don't know which one is Irene. That's kind of cool too. I don't know if I personally will pick up this one. I don't own any Iconics yet because I don't really have a place to put things on display. I probably could, and I probably should at some point, but that's just a cost that I haven't bought into yet. And then we obviously have the other Iconics coming down the line. We did see this week the Secret Valentine's Day one, which to really no one's surprise, it's Harley and Poison Ivy, because that's been the big hit from Notorious. My only concern with that set is the fact that it's only 2 figures. So I'm hoping it's not just 2 figures, because a lot of these other Iconics have been coming in multi-packs to really justify the cost. But if it's one of the cheaper ones where it's like $20, $25 for the 2 when they do something unique, sure, then I'm game. Besides that, they showed some sides from Wheels of Vengeance. They showed Hero Glow. They passed around some of the chases. They showed some figures. Like there's a super rare Ghost Rider that has the funniest power. King of the Underworld. Ghost Rider and adjacent friendly characters can use their powers regardless of opposing effects. Just in my head, that just sounded funny. Just like, yeah, they can use their powers. And the reason being of that is because obviously there's a lot of things that says you can't use your powers. So let's go to Ghost Rider. Probably will see some play because he's interesting. They also showed the new vehicle mechanic where basically when you reveal your force, you may choose a single base character on your sideline. And for this character, it was named Ghost Rider, or has Midnight Sun's keyword. You turn it to any click, and then the character, like so in this case it was a Ghost Rider on a bike, can use the standard attack and displayed powers displayed on the character's dial. And then when the Ghost Rider is KO'd, before removing him from the map, you generate the chosen character from your sideline on its last KO click. It can't be healed or replaced, and it isn't scored. So kind of cool, kind of like a pseudo possessor mechanic where like you get to take a standard attack and damage displayed on the dial, and you can turn it to any click too. So that is kind of a cool mechanic, not gonna lie. Like I like that better than previously, and the fact that they pop out and you get their last click, like that's cool because you still score the original Ghost Rider. So very, very cool. They showed a little bit of Next Phase. Next Phase is like a bright purple booster with like She-Hulk on the front of it. And then they talked about the retail chase boosters, which I'm eager to see who gets those. I think that'll be interesting to see how limited it is, or if it's a little bit more open to grow communities. They also showed Khonshu, which is a chase from Next Phase, who has this like the avatar of Khonshu, which is kind of like another possessor trait. During force construction, you may pay 10 points to choose another friendly character to be Khonshu's avatar. If they have Herald, it's 0 points. That character can't be equipped or chosen to be any other character's avatar. They can use stealth and prob and also score the points paid with this trait when they are KO'd. So basically you get, for free stealth and prob. Not bad. So it's neat. I assume the other avatars would give other abilities. So it's like a pseudo equip, but you need a character. They talked a little bit about the Deadpool Weapon X set. Basically, you're going to get character-specific dice in the boosters, which is kind of a cool concept. And then that was it. That's all he really talked about. I understand, but we're still getting stuff into, that's into the middle of 2024. We didn't really get any updates on the boxes, the, display cases, which we've seen the 3 count of those. I'm surprised they didn't even talk about those. They didn't talk about Beetlejuice at all. They didn't talk about, they didn't go into detail about what they're doing with the organized play. They should have probably talked about that a little bit more. But speaking about talking about that, I've spent a ton of time talking about the Wizkids Progress Report. Let's just hop into fishing with WizDad, and we'll talk about just the future.
Get your gear, little man. We're going fishing. And I mean now.
So for this Fishing with WizDad segment, I really just wanted to talk about rotation. We're now in a new age. We're now into a world that we've been anticipating for a while, looking forward to for a while, but now it's here. And how excited are we? Effectively, since Monday, a reminder of what went away. Basically, everything up to Disney Plus, including Disney Plus, is gone. This was by far the largest, I think it's by far the largest rotation we've ever had. Because we had a lot of sets that rotated early. Like Disney Plus technically got 2 worlds, but only survived a year and some change. So that means on the flip side, we are now entering one of the smaller worlds, modern, that we've had. Because effectively right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets currently. Once Notorious goes out, 6. And then Wheels of Vengeance 7. So luckily Notorious and Wheels of Vengeance is coming up fairly quickly. So that helps a bit. But that means we're entering kind of a awkward, not a ton of options. Like there's options, but not a ton. You're going to have your staples. Let's talk Modern first. We'll talk Modern and then Pulp. I feel like that's the best way to do it. Now, once again, everything that I'm talking about here is purely Modern. Yes, I am aware that Silver still exists. All of the figures you want to play still go into Silver. Even though there's some tinkering with that. But other than that, yeah, everything goes into Silver. Perfectly fine. But we're talking Modern here today. And I wanted to talk about what is left. So if just looking at the current teams that won. So if we look at Patrick Fraser's team, once again he played Prime Spider-Man, Garnet Silver Surfer, the MOE Chases, Sarkarian Iron Man, Mephisto, and Green Lantern. His whole team survives rotation except for Sarkarian Iron Man. And All Black the Necro Sword. That's a key one also. Prime Spider-Man is still going to be incredibly good, but he was especially good because of All Black the Necro Sword. But, that's okay, right? There's other equipment you can put on him. The biggest thing that we lose in Modern is you lose the Disney Plus chases, but you also lose the items, the equipment. We lost a lot of equipment, Cloak of Levitation being one of them. If we look at, let's continue down the list. Now, second place was Zane Gates. He played Scarlet Witch, Black Skull, Garnet Silver Surfer, Venom Magneto, Mephisto, and then Carnage. So he only loses Scarlet Witch and Venom Magneto. So only 2 pieces. Lucas Van Hollen got third. He played Big Ol' Apocalypse, Scarab, Little Apocalypse, Little Genesis, the storyline OP, Mad Jim Jaspers, and Mephisto. Cool. So he only loses Scarab, effectively. He does lose the radioactive clay on Mad Jim, and so he loses some of the, pretty much all of his equipment, except for like the Sinestro ring and the shock gauntlets. And that's probably one figure that takes the biggest hit, I think, in all of this, is Mad Jim probably takes a pretty significant hit, because the flexibility he had with equipment is going a little bit away. There's still a lot out there. Maybe we'll see more of like the Bat Belt and some of the lesser played items or equipment played, but yeah, that's all going away. Let's see, last one, we'll look at Scott Crampton, 4th place. Scarlet Witch, Black Skull, Saki, Scarab, Mad Jim, the Commissioner, and then Scott Crampton, the Pog. So he loses Scarlet Witch, Saki, Sarkarian Iron Man, I should say, Scarab, and Commissioner. So he takes a bigger hit with that. My concern, and it was my concern going into Modern, is that this world becomes heavily populated by rollouts, and you are stuck with like a lot of Garnet Silver Surfers, a lot of Prime Spider-Man, a lot of MOE chases who gives you more rollouts, and it just kind of becomes a little ew. Now I know the meta will settle, I know things will be fine, but it feels like, man, Rollout City. Like, what was it, Ludicrous Rollout? I don't know if that works, but basically you could probably play that song on repeat, and that's gonna be modern for a little bit. I know we have some newer figures that kind of help a bit. You have Captain America on a Pegasus, that new one, the Khan Ali, that helps kind of when he attacks, they can't use defense powers. That helps with the super senses and the mastermind. It doesn't help with everything. So I mean, if you were to ask me today what I would play, ooh, that's a good question. What would I play at this point? If Worlds were to take place today, let's just assume Notorious is legal, right? We don't want to just say, sorry, forget you, Notorious. Let's say Notorious is legal. I think you have the Black Lantern chases, which are going to be very good. I think right now I'm building Black Lanterns just because I believe in when something's incredibly good, everyone just assumes, oh yeah, that's just a go-to. You need to know how to beat it. But you also have to like make the team, right? You don't know how to beat it if you don't know how to build the team. So when Carnage Silver Surfer came out, it was incredibly easy to say, oh yeah, and they're amazing. And you just got to be prepared for them. But I didn't know how to prepare for them because I didn't know what a team looked like for Carnage Silver Surfers. It's easy to say it. It's harder to build it. So I've been building Black Lanterns because obviously with Necron, with Scott Porters, with all of that, it's easier said than done. But I think I've settled on a pretty decent team to start with. So let's talk Scott Porters to begin with. So we've lost Venom Magneto, one arguably the most efficient support piece in Heroclix history, I would argue. Because it was used on so many teams, 35 points, leadership, a taxi, free TK. He was amazing. He's gone. Yay. I have always said I feel like people used him as a crutch. Well, guess what? We've got 2 more crutches coming in to help those that suffer from that. And that is the Scott Porters. If you haven't seen the Scott Porters, they are absolutely ridiculous for their point cost. Let's talk about them just a little bit. First off, we have what is known as the Power Bomb Scott Porter. It is the white shirt Scott Porter. He is 25 points, only 4 clicks long. First up, Scott Porter has all keywords, even when he's not on the map. Okay, so that means Scott Porter can work with Black Lanterns. He can equip anything for free, assign anything that has the wording for the equipment, which is, I'm pretty sure, everything at this point. Not the swords. The swords don't have that, but he can equip anything from any of the rings for free, assign them, I should say. Any of the Spider-Man ones, if they have a keyword specific. So very, very good. At the beginning of the game, if Scott Porter is another trait, if Scott Porter is on a theme team, other friendly characters modify attack +1 as long as Scott Porter is on the map. Awesome. At the beginning of the game, if all other friendly characters are from the same HeroClix set, other friendly characters modify damage +1 as long as Scott Porter is on the map. So that means he is excluded from that because it says if all other friendly characters, so he doesn't break that rule. But this is kind of like Collector from Disney Plus, but kind of the opposite, whereas Collector wanted you like a figure from every different sets. He wants it all from one set. So incredibly strong map wide. If you build right, map wide, +1 attack, +1 damage. Great. I've seen this question before out there. He will probably be ruled like Collector because it says at the beginning of the game. So it's not like an aura effect. It is more of, hey, the check happens at the beginning of the game. If everyone's there, other friendly characters get that. If any bystanders or anything pops up, they would not get that bonus unless they were there at the beginning of the game. That could change, but just know that exists. They have archived that Collector ruling, by the way, so might be worth asking again. He has an attack power, knockback, pulse swipe, but doesn't target friendly characters. Cool. And then he has a stop click for whatever reason. Stop click regen. When he uses it, heal each adjacent friendly character 1 click. And he's a team player, because why not? So, very, very strong. Incredibly, incredibly good. He is your kind of cheapest equipment piece now, because he can go on any team, any theme team, and he can have any ring you want. And be able to do the free actions for it. And he has prob on top dial. And he gives +1 to attack and damage if you build correctly. Like, that's nutty. This guy's nuts. Like, so nuts. But guess what? There's even another Scott Porter that's arguably the same amount of nutty. We have the black shirt Heroclix for Huntington's Scott Porter. He is worded, when establishing theme teams, choose any keyword, then choose a team ability that another friendly or opposing character has on their dial. Which, hold on, wait. Establishing theme teams. Yeah, I guess when you sit down and you establish a theme team, that timing's a little wonky. Because I guess you establish theme team. Like in my head canon, you establish theme team before you sit down at the table. But that's a little wonky. But either way, this game, Scott Porter has the chosen keyword and team ability. So basically, you could just choose any keyword and team ability that someone else can use, and he gets it. During game setup, if Scott Porter is part of a theme team, increase the result of your roll for first player by +1. Okay, sure. Now, of course, obviously, being first player, not as big of a deal. Or, like, theme is not as big of a deal. First player is, and there's some new figures, like Super Rare Harley Quinn, who loves being first player. That's just one trait. Second trait, support. At the beginning of your turn, Scott Porter may heal a friendly character 1 click. Okay. Once again, he's only 25 points, 4 clicks. Another trait, because why not? If Scott Porter is part of a theme team, he starts the game with 3 community tokens. If Scott Porter has any community tokens, once per turn, you may reroll any roll. If you do, after resolutions, remove a community token from Scott Porter. So this 25-point character gives you a map-wide reroll. Just period. It's very akin to if you've ever played in a charity or Thanksgiving tournament where you got like I think we called them like canned probs or candy probs for Halloween or something, where you could just keep throwing in money or canned goods to support a local charity, and you just can keep probbing from anywhere. That's kind of what it is, and it doesn't limit it to like just attack rolls. It's just any roll. Nutty. And then he has a special defense power, super senses, and this gets even better. Friendly characters modify defense +1 when adjacent to a friendly character that shares a keyword with them. Once again, map wide. He doesn't have to be anywhere near them. He also has sidestep, TK, and perplex. Like, this is insane. Insane. So if you do not own both Scott Porters, you have got to get them. I believe at this point, white shirt, power bomb, Scott Porter, I'm checking now. I believe he is still out there at the store. Yes, white shirt, Scott Porter is still available on the Wizkids website. Black shirt, Scott Porter isn't, so you'd have to go out and hunt that. But it's only $20, and once again, it goes to charity. So, my goodness, like, every team now is basically just 250 points because you're sticking both of these figures on there. For example, Black Lanterns, I am building with both of these. Makes sense, they both make the Black Lantern theme team. Scott Porter Black Shirt. Remember, the way Black Lanterns work and why they're so nutty is because of Necron, who says friendly characters with the Black Lantern's core's keyword, occupying or adjacent to a friendly grave terrain marker, may heal past their starting lines if healed by a character with the Black Lantern Corps keyword. Cool. Guess who's getting the Black Lantern Corps keyword? Both Scott Porters. In that way, turn 1, the one Scott Porter can throw out a support, and heal up Necron. So that way you could start it at 40, maybe heal it up to 75. Start Superman. Superman at 120 is pretty good. Turn 1, I can heal him up to his 260 click, which is only 3 clicks, but still, pretty much get him up to top click pretty quickly. And that's just with one support. The other Scott Porter can equip the blue lantern ring, or is it indigo? It might be the indigo ring, and then have support, so he could do it too. So first turn, I can heal up Superman and Necron. So right now, my team is Superman, Necron, Scott Porter, and Scott Porter. I have discovered, and I'm sharing this to my loyal family, Superman, Black Lantern, has a new best friend. And his new best friend is Galactus. Superman at 120 and 260, for that fact, can be outwitted easily. So if you play him at 120, Galactus is still legal. Galactus did not rotate. That was on purpose because Galactus had that weird, that weird staggered release. So they purposely let him stay legal. So Galactus, for those who forget, gives you protected outwit essentially. It also makes where you can't equip or assign effectively. So Superman would effectively be equipped with Galactus. I wonder if he could also be the avatar of Khonshu. He does have Herald. I had not really thought about that. They probably need to make a ruling that says that you can't. Either way, give him that, because then he also starts with when you're the Herald. Let me just read what the Herald does. Because the character has to be equal to or less than half of the build total to become the Herald. That's fine. Superman's 120. The Herald has a range of 5 if its printed value is less and can't be equipped or replaced. That's cool. Superman has a range of 4, so boost that up to 5. I also don't know how that works with hypersonic. I know it's replace and modify, so I think it's based off of order that you decide. Because they're both replacing, and it's not a minimum. So I think he would get a 5 range hypersonic. I might be wrong, but either way, the range would increase by 1. But if he gets a 5 range hypersonic, that's awesome. That would make this even better. You also get, he starts with phasing, but then he gets powers down the line like Quake, Penetrating Psychic Blast, Pulse Wave, Range Combat Expert, Outwit, Perplex, Prob. Like, he gets those down the line as you keep clicking the Herald dial. And you will, because at the end of your turn, if the Herald is within 5 squares of an opposing character or KO'd an opposing character this turn, click the Herald dial once, twice, if both applied. So you can get him, pretty far. He is going to be in the fray. Let's also not discount the Elemental Converter. That is also still good. Because at the end of your turn, click the Elemental Converter dial once. If Galactus or the Herald KO'd an opposing character this turn, you'd click it an additional time. So you can keep clicking it, and basically at the end of each opponent's turn, deal 1 unavoidable damage to each character on that force within X squares of a map edge, where X is the number displayed on this dial. Keep in mind, we're on the smaller maps, so this turns an already small map. The max you could get is 5. It's unlikely you get there. But if we just went to one of the smaller maps, and let's say you hit 5, right? So you go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from one edge, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the other edge. I mean, you're looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're looking at a 6 by 6 section in the middle of the map that they wouldn't take unavoidable. Very unlikely that happens. Even if it's a 3 by 3, even if you hit the 3, you're still looking at a 10 by 10 section in the middle of the map, which really inhibits things. So I'm of the wheelhouse, because I don't know what else you would equip him with, maybe shape change, but he'd just be outwitted. You don't want Superman to be outwitted. So I'm just giving him Galactus. I know that seems nutty. That puts me at 235. I'm playing Necron at 40 because I feel like you could probably heal him up first turn. At this point, there are a couple characters I'm looking at. I'm looking at probably another Black Lantern. Because I'm playing both Scott Porters, I would not get the damage buff. I would get the attack buff because this is a Black Lantern Corps theme team. What I am considering is maybe a Miss Marvel for Superman to carry around. That might be okay. Or, there's some other Black Lanterns that aren't bad. Like Batman's not bad. Batman's kind of neat for what he does. So give myself a Batman and have him run around and do something. He'll be able to heal fairly quickly as well. And then he has that kind of outwit that's like a bomb of sorts. There's also room for like a Martian Manhunter, Hal Jordan. I originally had Hal Jordan on here for the Green Lantern team ability, just because it would be useful, and he does some decent things, but he is also kind of easy to kill. So it might be more of like a Green Arrow, give me some more attack, since support is pretty much covered. But that's just scratching the surface of Black Lanterns. Black Lanterns are potentially good, but the more that I look at Black Lanterns, their top clicks when you heal past them aren't insane. So it's not like they go up to something that is just impossible to take out. Like Carnage Silver Surf, you heal up. I think he starts on toughness and he goes up to invincible with his rollouts. So very difficult. But you look at something like Hal Jordan, he starts with ESD and toughness, and then he goes up and he loses that and goes to invulnerability. Okay, that's not that bad. Same with Green Arrow, he starts with willpower, he goes up to ESD. Martian Manhunter starts with invulnerable, goes up to impervious. He does gain a shape change, so maybe he's the one that might be the worst. Like the worst, the better one to heal up. Even Superman starts with invincible. He just gains his damage power, which is close combat expert and exploit. And then Superman's other powers have protected outwit. So you could argue maybe because of that damage power, or that damage power, you don't want Galactus. I'm more scared of if he gets to click 4, he gets outwitted and yeeted. Like he's just gone. So something to keep in mind. I always try to build these teams. If you're out there building modern teams and you're like, oh, these are the de facto teams people are playing, build it. You're going to understand the team way better if you build it. Now, real quick, because this episode is going a bit long, let's talk about Pulp and where Pulp is. Pulp, as a connoisseur of Pulp, if you will, the Pulp format, the world of Pulp has existed in the realm of Mr. Sinister and Pulsewave. Basically, you wanted one of those two things on your team. My Pulp team, I think, was probably the best Pulp team out there. I'm not even going to sugarcoat that. I think it was. Dan Powell got second place by using my Pulp team. I think it's the best team. I was 3-1 before I dropped, and I could have won that third match if rolls went my way a little bit more. Maybe if I had more practice with it. But I think it was the best Pulp team. Either way, I lose a lot of those pieces because the Disney Plus hurt a lot of things. So now we're going into a world where Sinister still exists, but he loses Moira. So that means he has to rely on actually people rolling those rally die, which could happen. So Pulsewave can't completely go away. But we are, once again, in a small set meta. You don't get Connolly's, you don't get super rares, you don't get chases. So I'll quickly go over some of the key pieces I think are going to make a splash in Pulp. Going through Notorious, obviously we don't know enough about Wheels of Vengeance to make a decision. So in X of Swords, there's probably some pieces out here that are good enough to see some play. Like Rare Wolverine isn't bad, the one that just doesn't die. There might be something with mission points as well, like a Cape Pride or something like that. Let's see, going through. That's kind of it. That's kind of all I'm feeling with this, because you don't get the swords. That's the biggest downside to Exa Swords, is you don't get the swords. So a lot of these figures just aren't as good as you would hope. That's the same being said for the Exa Swords organized play kit. I will say Manifold probably sees a little bit more play, and Sinister's still going to be there, right? Anytime you roll a 1, you get a rally die. So it's kind of like a backing that up. But ideally, you don't want to be rolling ones. So, but it will happen. Absolutely will happen. You really start seeing more figures pop up in Avengers Forever. That's where you see your, Astral Doctor Strange and the Uncommon Doctor Strange aren't going anywhere. Blue Marvel is not going anywhere. He's still there. Red Widow isn't going anywhere. He's absolutely still there. But some other figures to keep in mind. You've got Star-Lord. Remember, Lucas won with a 30-point Star-Lord on there, because that does give you access to Pulse Wave. You might consider other figures like Prodigy isn't bad. He's kind of got like a die replacement thing too with Rally. Maria Hill, I saw being played, just being able to create some shield operatives is pretty good. And then we kind of go into Batman Team Up. I think the biggest winner of Pulp right now is going to be Gotham City Underworld. So I think I'll just focus on that for this last little bit. Gotham City Underworld got really better, like a lot better because of Notorious. So you could build a team in Gotham City Underworld. Built around, let's see, Deathstroke doesn't have it. Probably, thank goodness. But if you look at some of the common, so for example, Harley Quinn, the 008, has friendly characters with Batman Enemy have Suicide Squad. Cool. Poison Ivy has friendly characters with Batman Enemy can use Stealth. Also cool. They also have 20-point dials. Like, they have 50 points and 25. So go 25. You have Penguin, who has friendly characters with Batman Enemy, has Underworld. Also cool. You have the Joker. Friendly characters with Batman Enemy has Mystics. Awesome. And so you have all these characters that give Batman Enemy something, and at the time, that wasn't great. Like, that was okay. Wasn't great. But then we got Notorious, and Notorious changed things up. Guess what a majority of the goons have? Batman Enemy. Guess who is by far the strongest, if not, but probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest character in Modern Pulp? Poison Ivy. Rare Poison Ivy is incredibly good. She can be carried across the map, drop out some plants. The plants are like a 10 for 2 flurry. No, they're like a 9. Like a 9 or an 8. But they all have Batman Enemy. They have the symbol, because Poison Ivy shares her 11 to the plants. And she has Empower. And she can just free generate it within a square within range of line of fire. So she can be carried across, free generate. You play her at 80. And you just start making plants. And the Thorn Vines start flurrying people. And with her Empower, they do 3 damage. And an 11 attack, 3 damage flurry. Insane. And then you play her with a Harley Quinn, so that way she could just start taking free attacks if they go after Harley. It worked amazingly well for me in Team Worlds, that there's no way it doesn't work in Pulp. You also have all these goons that are pretty good on their own. You also have a Harley Quinn that you can give certain people Gotham City Underworld and make it a theme team. For example, when established the uncommon Harley Quinn, which is probably going to be played, leadership, no move and attack, but that's okay because of BFF. GFFs. I'll go over the figure real quick. She has Batman Enemy, Team Player. She has a lot of keywords: Arkham Asylum, Batman Family, Gotham City Underworld, Gotham City, Legion of Doom, Suicide Squad, Scientist. When establishing theme teams, Harley Quinn may choose a character that shares a keyword with her, so any of the ones I just said. That character gains Gotham City Underworld. So cool. She's making a lot of people, or a person, Gotham City Underworld. That includes scientists like Blue Marvel. That includes some of the Legion of Doom figures, some Suicide Squad. Now, there's not a ton of options. Batman Family, though, there's a lot of Batmans you can add. So there's options. And then she has the BFF GFFs. Make an attack targeting an opposing character that attacked Harley Quinn or another friendly character with the Gotham City Underworld keyword since your last turn. When Harley Quinn attacks a character that damaged a friendly character named Poison Ivy, since your last turn, modify her attack and damage +1, so she'd be hitting for 12 for 4. This comes up more often than you think, because it's a free action, so she can use her leap climb, get over there, and attack 12 for 4, potentially, or just free attack. So if I was building Pulp today, I would absolutely be building Gotham City Underworld. I will honorable mention, and we'll go into this into later episodes, I will also mention the Assassin capabilities, because Assassin is very good, especially since you have access to Deathstroke, the 150-point Deathstroke. You have access to all the new Notorious ones. You still have like Tactical Force, Militant, like those are good pieces. But then you have access to Ra's al Ghul, who has the target. Remember the target trait from Notorious is at the beginning of the game for all characters with this trait. Give a target token to an opposing character. For all characters with this trait, when a friendly character with the Assassin keyword KOs an opposing character with a target token, score 25 victory points. That's in addition to whatever you score. Free, if no opposing character has a target token, give an opposing character a target token. This is Ra's al Ghul's trait. Friendly characters with the trait target treat that token as if it were generated by the trait. So you play Ra's, you play some other key assassin pieces, like Deadshot's pretty good. You definitely play Deathstroke. Maybe Strix. Strix is okay. Lincoln Marsh is okay. Like Lincoln Marsh is pretty good also. You've got Black Manta that's really good, who's an assassin. But you also have just Bowman, Winter Soldier, Militant, Tactical Force. You've got some Hand Ninja. You got Bullseye. You got Silver Sable. You got Daredevil, the Punisher. The Bullseye from the starter set isn't bad either. You've got Sportsmaster. You've got Deathstroke. You've got Peacemaker. Red X. Bane is even one. My goodness, you've got Winter Soldier, Hawkeye. Red Widow's an assassin. So 100%, like, the two keywords, if there was kind of like a graph that shows like what keywords are getting better, Avengers has fallen because you lose Party Thor. You still have Falcon and you still have Blue Marvel, so great. It's not terrible. But now you have access to, that rare Wolverine I was talking about is also an assassin. Right now, I think Assassin is probably at the top just because it's going to score a lot of points. So you can play your rare Wolverine. You can play Honey Badger. You can play Deathstroke. Like all these pieces with Ra's al Ghul, and you can start farming points pretty easily because he keeps moving that around. So something to note. I think Gotham City Underworld also takes a bump because Poison Ivy is really good. Just period. And because of the way the figures work together, that creates a lot of possibilities. So if you're looking at Pulp right now, look into Assassin, look into Gotham City Underworld. All right, man, this was probably an hour-long episode, if not close to it. Thank you for working with me on this. Happy to put Worlds behind us. Start looking into the future. It was a great time at Worlds. Once again, congratulations to all the world champs. This is a new horizon, and luckily we have a little bit of time. There's not a lot of major tournaments coming up. We don't really have online tournaments anymore, though that might change. I think some people will try to do some like online tournaments every once in a while. Shoot, I might try to organize one in like December or something. That might be fun to kind of do a charity tournament of sorts. But yeah, we're on a new horizon with Heroclix. There's a lot of exciting things to be ready for. Modern is going to be a little crazy. Now, Notorious might not see its time to shine because Wheels of Vengeance is coming up right after it, like a month later. But that's okay. It's going to be fun, and I can't wait to see what comes of it. So thanks again for listening to Gee Whiz, and I will see you guys on Monday for Dice Masters Monday. Have a great day and a great weekend.